Let's take a caller. This one's a little different, and her name is Ruth, and wants to know if it is socially acceptable to not want children. Ruth, can you hear me? It's Claire. You're on with Claire, Dale, and Kendall.
Hi, Claire.
Hi.
Hi, everybody else.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
The answer is yes.
Well, it's really not socially acceptable if you put it out there. It's easier to tell people that you're an atheist than it is to tell people that you don't want children, honestly. But yeah.
Well,
it's really none of anybody's business.
It's none of anybody's business, but also I want as few parents that don't want to be parents in existence. I don't want anybody who doesn't want children to have children.
Totally. That's the way I feel about it. Like, and I'm a huge empath. Like, I love everybody, and I'm very kind and caring about everybody else. But I just have never had that urge to have my own children. Some of that is I have 5 little sisters. I don't.
Did that? You raised 5 already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's a hard thing socially. You know, like the older that I get, the more people are like, "Aren't you going to have some kids?" And I'm like, no, not really.
Lordy. That is so inappropriate to ask.
It's insensitive, quite frankly.
Yeah, if you need my permission to just say, wow, how's your meal? And just change the topic just brashly, because that is so inappropriate to ask. It is none of anyone's business. And I'm sorry people ask such stupid things and say, I mean, that's rough. It's your choice. It's your life.
Yeah, and people seem
and it's almost as
go ahead.
It's as hard it's okay. I'm sorry. It's almost as hard to like make personal decisions about your life, like medical care and things like that. It's harder to do that than it is to have a child. You know, It's like, oh well, that just happened. You know.
Yeah. I think people tend to have a sense of entitlement when it comes to your decisions in your life. Like for me, I'm a single parent, and people think it's appropriate to ask me how I had my son, which I think is just totally unacceptable. Like you have no idea. My situation wasn't a big traumatic event, but it could have been. And how do you know that it's not? And the same thing goes for people who don't have children, whether you want children or not. A lot of people ask those questions to people who have had 5 miscarriages and desperately want children, But I think what it comes down to is really just like being assertive and telling them, it's none of your business. And these are the things that I do want in my life and will make me feel fulfilled. And children is not a part of that plan. And that's too bad if you don't agree with that.
Yeah.
So invested in this. It just mystifies me why people, because they really get, I know exactly what you're talking about. I have seen people really go over the top about someone else's decision to not have children. It really is mystifying to me. I can see somebody saying, oh gosh, I would never make that choice, but why in the world, why does it matter so much to them? It's what I have never understood.
I think to play devil's advocate, as a parent, we know how much joy our children bring us and how much fulfillment and happiness they bring us. And so I think in a lot of cases, people are like, no, like you just have to try it. It's the most amazing thing. Being a parent is wonderful, but it's not coming across
I've heard that
way.
a million times.
Yeah. And, it's like, I think if people are on the fence about it and we're having the conversation, I would generally be like, yeah, being a mom is amazing. It's my favorite thing. Also, it kind of sucks sometimes. So you kind of have to
Yeah, I'm sure parasailing off of big cliffs is awesome. Not going to do it. You can have all of mine. Just because I find children marvelous, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to want children. That's just personal choice. That's all it is. And they can mind their own business.
I've had some instances where it's almost like a shaming thing. Like if I go buy myself something, or if I go buy a new car or something, it's like
you're being selfish.
I'm being selfish.
That's what I've heard, and that there's an anger to it that is absolutely bizarre to me.
And it's silly, right? Because that's bare minimum 18 years of
relationships. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it stops relationships. Like, I've had friends that it's like all of a sudden they think they can't be friends with me because they're going to have kids. Like, it's like a world ender or something. Yeah.
Those probably aren't people that you want to have as friends. I will say that it can be difficult after you have children to connect with people who don't have children. You know, if I have a hard day with my son and then I go see one of my friends that doesn't have kids, I'm like, oh my gosh, this happened today. And they're like, oh, that's cool. I woke up at 11. You know, like it can be really frustrating. But I have I'd say 90% of my friends don't have children, and it's not okay for them to shut you out like that for a decision that you're making. That doesn't sound like a good friend to me.
Yeah.
But it is. It's definitely a hard social thing to get and find friends who are the same. And I guess you could say that for atheism as well. But but it's definitely, you have to find a group or a place where it's okay to say those things, and not have that fear of ridicule for it. Or
I see that you're in South Carolina. If you lived in New York, I think that would never come up. But South Carolina, I could see where there'd be a good bit of pressure because the culture there is very old-fashioned, family conservative, sort of, by and large.
The whole quiverful thing.
Oh, Lordy.
Yeah.
I
have 5 little sisters. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Okay, well,
anyways,
I hope we helped a little bit, Ruth, and good luck out there, and tell them to mind their own business.
Yeah, that was a great answer.
All right.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Take care, Ruth. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right.